Hello friends. To stay updated with new videos, you can subscribe to my channel and support me by liking them. Enjoy the story. My name is Muhammad. I am 35 years old, from Bayburt. I am married and have a daughter. It may sound ordinary to many, but my life has always been tied to the earth. My story belongs to the dusty pages of history. Becoming an archaeologist was my childhood dream, and I achieved it long ago. I have taken part in countless excavations, from Edirne to Hakkari, chasing traces of ancient civilizations across Anatolia. Each dig felt like a puzzle waiting to be solved. And we were the ones trying to solve it. Today, I want to share with you something I experienced years ago during an excavation. At that time, we were in Shavaz. For days, we had been uncovering the remains of an ancient settlement. The site was huge, and what we found turned out to be far more important than we had expected. Normally, every discovery excites us. But in those last few days, there was a strange tension in the air. It felt as if the earth itself did not want its secrets revealed. After sunset, the site changed completely. The burning heat of the day faded, replaced by a cool breeze sweeping down from the hills. It carried whispers that seemed as old as time. Stars began to appear one by one, breaking the silence with their quiet glow. Yet beneath the beauty, there was an unease. Some members of the team whispered about the strange carvings and symbols we had found. I could feel that unease as well. As an experienced archaeologist, I believe every site has its own energy. But this one felt unlike anything I had known before. The ground seemed restless, unwilling to give up what it was hiding. At night, this feeling grew stronger. We were far from the city, so we stayed in tents beside the excavation. The sky was so clear that the stars looked like diamonds scattered across black silk. Usually, such a sight filled me with peace. It reminded me of the highlands of Bayburt. But that night, something weighed heavily on me. It was as if the land pressed its ancient secrets upon our shoulders. The others, exhausted, soon retreated to their tents. Only the crackling of the campfire and the distant call of an owl broke the silence. Inside, a voice warned me, this dig was different. Something about it demanded caution. Perhaps it was the strange symbols we had uncovered, their meaning unknown, but their presence unsettling. I hoped morning light would clear away these feelings. Soon, exhaustion pulled me into sleep. But rest did not bring peace. In my dream, I was back at the site. Darkness covered everything. A cold wind howled in the distance. From beneath the earth, whispers rose, sharp and unbearable. The pits we had dug turned into bottomless holes. Shapes moved within them. The carvings on the stones shifted, alive, and their eyes seemed fixed on me. Suddenly, a cold hand gripped my wrist from below. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. My heart pounded. Sweat drenched me. I woke in terror. The tent was just as I had left it. Outside, the wind still whispered, sounding almost like the voices from my dream. I told myself, it was only a dream. Yes, only a dream. Yet the vividness of it made my unease grow stronger. I knew I would not sleep again. Lying on my back, I waited for dawn, the nightmare pressing down on me like a shadow. Every time I closed my eyes, the scene returned: the dark side, the whispers, the cold hand. I whispered again, just a dream. But the feeling inside me would not leave. It was as though the land itself mirrored the darkness I had seen. When the first light of morning broke through the fabric of the tent, I stepped outside. The air was cool, but the heavy darkness of the night was gone. My colleagues were waking one by one. Their tired but ordinary expressions gave me some relief. Perhaps I had simply been too exhausted, and that was why the nightmare had come. Still, something in me felt unsettled. As we began the day's work, I promised myself I would stay alert. Because in this place, buried beneath the earth, there seemed to be more than just relics of the past. The voices of my friends and the sound of the kettle brought me some comfort. We gathered around a small table. Hassan, always the cheerful one, smiled and greeted me, "Good morning, Muhammad. Did you sleep well?" I answered lightly, "I slept, but the dreams were strange." I didn't want to speak of the nightmare. There was no reason to cast a shadow over everyone's mood. Such things happen during excavations. They are usually blamed on fatigue. Our tea was poured, fresh bread and cheese placed on the table. We ate together in silence. Even in the remote corners of Anatolia, such a simple breakfast under the open sky could bring a kind of peace. With each bite, I tasted the fresh tea and the crunch of bread. For a moment, yesterday's unease and the nightmare faded from my mind. After breakfast, I lit a cigarette, feeling an odd relief. As I drew in the smoke, it was as if I wanted to push away all dark thoughts. The morning air of Shabazz burned my lungs, a ritual of sorts. Maybe with the smoke, the strange weight on me would drift away. I fixed my eyes on the hills. The sun had risen high, lighting everything. Perhaps daylight would strip the nightmare of its meaning. Yet inside, a mix of curiosity and unease lingered about what the dig might bring. Whatever it was, I was ready. As I took one last drag, Hassan came over. Like me, he was an experienced archaeologist. We had worked side by side for years. His eyes held a strange look, as if he wanted to speak but could not find the words. "Muhammad," he finally said, "Samuel's group found something new." His voice was quieter than usual. I frowned. "What is it that makes you all so uneasy?" Normally, discoveries brought excitement and we would rush to see them. But Hassan's face said otherwise. He explained, "It looks like a tunnel, hidden beneath the earth. Its entrance was sealed with massive stones. We only just noticed it." A tunnel? That surprised me. Such places rarely had them. "Did you look inside?" I asked, curiosity rising above fear. Hassan shook his head. "No one dares. It feels like something cold, something heavy, is flowing from it. Everyone is uneasy. What should we do?" In that moment, last night's nightmare struck me like an arrow, the whispers from the soil, the cold hand, the dread. Yet my identity as an archaeologist pushed me to uncover the secret. "Let's go. We'll see it for ourselves," I said. Hassan nodded, relief crossing his face. As we moved east, we saw the others gathered at the tunnel entrance. Their tense faces matched Hassan's words. The opening was sealed by moss-covered stones, as if untouched for thousands of years. I tried to sense the air inside. It was cold, damp, and carried a strange mold-like odor. Just then, Ahmet, the youngest of the team, stepped forward. Brave and eager, he always volunteered first. "I'll go in," he said, voice shaky but firm. "Let's take a light and see. We can't just stand here." I met Hassan's eyes. Though I admired Ahmet's courage, the warning inside me grew stronger. This was no ordinary find. Each step inside felt like a step toward the unknown. Should I let Ahmet go, or should I take this risk myself? Before we could act, Ahmet pushed aside a few stones and slipped into the tunnel. His flashlight flickered inside for a brief moment, then darkness swallowed it. Hassan shouted, "Be careful, Ahmet." But no reply came. Minutes passed in silence. Only the wind outside and our pounding hearts could be heard. Samuel muttered, "He'll come back soon," but even he sounded unsure. The silence stretched on. No light, no sound of Ahmet. Anxiety grew in us all. Hassan kept calling, "Ahmet, are you all right?" but only his echo returned. "This won't do," I said. My fear clashed with the thought of Ahmet being in danger. The nightmare from last night and the possibility of harm to him made waiting unbearable. "I'm going in." Hassan tried to stop me, but when he saw my determination, he gave up. "Be careful, Muhammad. Who knows what's inside?" I nodded, grabbed another flashlight, and leaned into the narrow opening. The cold, damp air hit my face. A sharp smell stung my nose. I switched on the light. A low, narrow passage stretched ahead. The walls were made of rough stone, with faint, strange markings upon them. Taking a deep breath, I stepped inside. Darkness closed around me. My light revealed only a few steps ahead. The tunnel widened slightly, though the ceiling stayed low. Soon, I spotted something shining on the ground. I bent down. It was Ahmet's flashlight, still lit. But there was no sign of him. "Ahmet!" I called. My voice echoed. A pause. Then, a muffled, unclear moan came from deeper inside. My heart raced. That sound was no good omen. Holding the light tightly, I rushed toward it. The tunnel narrowed again. The carvings on the wall seemed almost alive, watching me. Finally, I reached a small chamber where the tunnel widened. Raising my light, I saw him, Ahmet, on his knees, clutching his head. His face was pale, eyes wide in terror. "Are you all right, Ahmet?" I asked. He flinched at my voice and slowly turned toward me. "Muhammad, there was something," he stammered. I touched his shoulder. His body was ice cold, trembling. "Calm down. What did you see?" His breath was shaky. The whispers, from the walls. And a shadow, he could not finish. He began trembling again, eyes lost in the void. Whatever he had seen or felt shook him deeply. Keeping him here was pointless. He needed to get out. I tried to lift him, but he resisted, as if he did not want to move. "Come on, Ahmet. We must leave." It was harder than I expected, as if his weight had doubled. Finally, I pulled him up, slung his arm over my shoulder, and guided him back. Step by step, we moved through the tunnel. His trembling never stopped. His head struck the stones a few times, but he barely reacted. The closer we got to the entrance, the more relieved I felt, though worry gnawed at me. At last, the light of the entrance appeared. I dragged him out, and our friends rushed over. Relief filled their faces, but when they saw Ahmet's condition, fear replaced it. We laid him down. He kept trembling, eyes darting in terror. "What happened to him, Muhammad?" Hassan asked. I took a deep breath. "I don't know. But something bad is inside. Whatever Ahmet saw or heard, it broke him." My eyes shifted back to the tunnel's dark mouth. My fear had only grown. That tunnel hid more than relics of the past. Ahmet's state did not improve. He muttered things we couldn't understand, trembling from time to time. Our lead, Professor Ice, acted quickly. "He must go home. Send him to Bursa, to his family. Perhaps there, in a familiar place, he can recover." The team prepared to drive him away. A part of me felt lighter knowing he was leaving, but my curiosity about the tunnel burned stronger. What had happened to him? What had he seen? Whispers spread among the younger members. Some didn't believe his fear. "Maybe he just saw an animal and panicked," one said. Another added, "He probably wanted to leave for Bursa anyway." Their words angered me. Ahmet's fear was real. I had felt the same dread. But how could I explain it to them? Science needed evidence, and all we had was Ahmet's broken state. Still, my gaze kept returning to the tunnel. Fear battled with curiosity. That place hid a cursed secret, lost among the dust of history. And it called to me. After Ahmet left, Professor Ice ordered the area sealed. "We'll leave this spot for now. Focus on other sections. There is no need to rush." The team obeyed, scattering to their tasks. But I could not focus. Every strike of the shovel, every heap of soil removed, only pulled my thoughts back to that tunnel. Ahmet's pale face, his trembling, and the moans inside echoed in my mind. The others dismissed it, but I could not. Evening came. We returned to camp, tired and silent. The fire was lit, food prepared. Sitting beside Hassan, I ate quietly. The thoughts would not leave me. Finally, I said, "Tonight, I will go into the tunnel." Hassan dropped his fork, eyes wide. "Are you insane? What are you saying?" "I sealed it for a reason. I need to know what happened to Ahmet. I need to know what's inside. I can't leave it be." Hassan shook his head. "You're exhausted, Muhammad. You're letting this get to you. Forget it. Tomorrow is another day. Trust Ice. She knows what she's doing." "No, Hassan," I replied. "This is different. There's something inside, and I have to find it," I said. "Even if you don't come, I'll go in." I locked eyes with him. I was determined. Hassan's face showed helplessness. He knew he couldn't stop me. With a sigh, he said, "All right. But we'll be very careful, okay? The slightest problem, we turn back." I nodded. "I promise." At midnight, when the camp was silent, we slipped out of our tents. The moonlight painted Shabazz Hills in a pale silver. Everyone was asleep. Only the wind whispered. We grabbed our flashlights and walked to the sealed tunnel. We pushed the stones aside. Cold, heavy air hit our faces. Inside, our lights cut through the darkness. We reached the small chamber where Ahmet had been. Everything looked the same. We only picked up his fallen flashlight. We examined the walls carefully. Under our beams, strange carvings appeared. More complex than anything before. Like a story carved into stone, but we couldn't read it. Next to them, part of the wall had been hollowed out. There was a space inside. Hassan and I exchanged looks. We stepped closer. When our lights reached inside, we froze. There were old books, made of parchment, preserved by the damp earth. Beside them, gold and diamonds sparkled. Treasures overflowing as if from a chest. I had seen many artifacts, but nothing like this. Priceless. Yet fear grew inside me. Why were they here, untouched? Why so well preserved? It felt like a trap. Hassan's eyes met mine. Neither of us dared to touch them. It was as if a curse clung to the treasure. Then, from deep inside the tunnel, voices rose. At first whispers. Then murmurs. Then screams, piercing and sharp. They echoed, surrounding us. Hassan's face turned pale. My chest tightened. These weren't human voices. They felt from another world. We dropped our lights and ran without looking back. Our feet tangled. Our breath burned. The sounds chased us. At last, we burst out into the night air. The cold hit our faces. Silence fell again, but the screams still rang in our ears. We stumbled back to camp, hearts pounding like they would burst. Inside our tents, only pale moonlight seeped through. Hassan's face was white, his eyes wide with fear. You heard them, Muhammad. The voices, the screams, he whispered. Yes, I said. I heard. This is not normal. We sat in silence, hearing only our breaths. Hassan trembled. Soon he moved into my tent. I can't stay alone. Can I stay with you? Come, I said. Neither of us slept. We whispered through the night. Do you think it was real, Muhammad? Or just our imagination? Hassan asked. I don't know. But the books, the gold, the diamonds, they were real. And so were those voices. Even speaking of it made my skin crawl. We told ourselves it was stress, exhaustion. But we didn't believe it. The screams had been too real. By dawn, our eyes were bloodshot. We sat at breakfast, drained. Ishoka noticed at once. What happened to you? You look like you've seen a ghost. Hassan and I exchanged a smile. Then we told her everything. The treasure. The voices. Ahmet. She listened, doubtful. I understand. But perhaps you were affected by Ahmet's condition. Fatigue can cause such visions. The treasure, the voices, without proof, they sound too fantastical. But we saw them, Hokam. How could we imagine all that gold? Hassan said. She shook her head. Still, for now the tunnel stays sealed. You're exhausted. Work in another area. There's a new site west of Shavas. Go there. Rest a little. It felt like an excuse to send us away. She didn't believe us. My voice broke with disappointment. Hokum, we want to leave this dig. Her expression hardened. Leave? That's not possible. I'm only moving you. This is an order. We exchanged helpless looks. There was no choice. Another team was sent into the tunnel. Even if she didn't admit it, doubt had taken root in her mind. Days later, word came back. The carvings, the books, the gold, and diamonds were real. The team also spoke of strange whispers and a heavy air inside. Hoka finally believed us. But it was too late. We had already been sent away. Still, I knew the tunnel would not let us go. While we worked at the new site, my thoughts stayed behind in the cursed darkness. One morning, just as the sun was rising, the radio crackled. It was Hoka, her voice filled with panic. Muhammad, Hassan, come here at once. Emergency. We froze. A bad feeling gripped us. Our eyes met. Then we ran for the car and sped back toward the old dig. We didn't speak a word on the way. Only the sound of our racing hearts. When we reached the dig site, chaos awaited us. The team stood around the tents, their faces pale with fear. Hoka stood near the sealed tunnel, white as a sheet. When she saw us, she hurried over. Her eyes were wet. Her voice trembled. Children, something terrible happened. What is it, Hokum? What's going on? I asked, my voice shaking. She pointed to the tunnel. 2 from the team. Ibrahim and Firat. She stopped, drew a breath, tried to steady herself. They were found this morning. In their beds. Torn apart. Her words made my blood run cold. Hassan and I stared at each other in horror. Torn apart? How? Hoka's voice broke. Some diamonds, they must have stolen them from the tunnel. That's why it happened. My stomach turned. The curse was real. The treasure had claimed them. They weren't just victims. They were warnings. I looked at the black mouth of the tunnel. It felt alive. Breathing. Smiling with vengeance. This was proof. Hassan and I had not imagined it. The power inside was real. Deadly. But now, what would we do? How far would this curse go? Ibrahim and Firat's fate haunted me. Science, reason, none of it could explain this horror. Hokum, I said, my throat tight, this is not madness. Not an accident. It's a curse. I took a deep breath. A secret I had carried for years pressed to escape. My home is Bayard. There's a Hoka there. All my life I've heard of him. He helps with cases like this. Things no doctor can cure. He may be our only hope. Doubt still clouded her face, but curiosity flickered in her eyes. Hokum, we've tried everything. You saw Ahmet. You know the voices, the carvings. Nothing explains it. No one else can help us. Please, let's at least try. Before more lives are lost. She was silent. Her gaze drifted far away. I could see the war inside her. Finally, she turned back. Her voice was weary but firm. Very well, Muhammad. We'll try. If nothing else, At least we'll know we tried every way. Relief washed over me. She was convinced. We set off at once. Darkness covered the road. Silence filled the car. Then, strange things happened. A ruined hut where a muffled scream echoed. Whispers in the wind. Shadowy figures by the roadside. Each one chilling us to the bone. At last, the lights of Bayvert appeared. In the old Hoka's humble home, we sat on cushions, lit by candles. We told him everything from Ahmet's terror, to the treasure, to Ibrahim and Firat's deaths. He listened in silence. When we finished, he said calmly, "That tunnel, it is an ancient gate. Sealed by the jinn. The treasure is theirs. Whoever touches it, pays with their life." A shiver ran through me. "What can we do, Hokam?" I asked. He smiled faintly. "There are ways. But it takes courage. And patience. Tomorrow, we return to the site. Tonight, go to your families. Their presence will give you strength." His words were strange, but comforting. That night, I embraced my family. Ate at my mother's table. Held my wife and daughter close. For a moment, the terror faded. The next morning, we met the Hoka again. He carried a small satchel. As we drove, he recited Quran without pause. His voice filled the car with peace. The weight on us grew lighter. By evening, we returned to the dig. The air was heavy, the camp fearful. When the Hoka stepped out, he greeted the people. "Salamun alaikum." His voice was strong, commanding. The camp fell silent. Then came the replies, "Alaikum salam." Some even bent to kiss his hand, but he refused humbly. His presence alone gave them hope. He entered the tunnel. Hours passed. At last, he emerged, his face calm. "It's done. Seal the entrance. No one must enter again." The order was final. The dig was over. We packed the camp. Everyone went home. On the way back, silence followed us again. But this time, it was not fear. It was the weight of what we had lived. We returned the Hoka to Bayvert, kissed his hand in gratitude. Then, Hassan went back to Trabzon. Ice Hoka to Izmir. I stayed with my family. For a year, none of us touched archaeology. The tunnel's shadow remained. Then one day, the phone rang. It was Ice Hoka. Her voice was bright. "Muhammad, I have great news. I'm starting a new research center in Izmir. About ancient civilizations. I want you and Hassan with me. If you're ready, there's work for you here. Izmir. A new beginning. With Hassan and Ice Hoka by my side again." We agreed. And so, after the cursed tunnel, a new chapter began. We pursued history under a new sky. The screams, the treasure, the curse now just scars in memory. We walked on. Where faith and science meet. The story ends here, my friends. Thank you for listening. If you haven't yet, subscribe and turn on notifications. See you in the next video. Take care.